Real Sports Fan Podcast, Season 3, Episode 3. Got Big Bro here with me, Shark, the Sharkist. What's good? We in the building.
Thanks for having me.
Oh man, thanks for coming on. You know, we, as you can see, we still live at BAM. Shout out to Derek and Kendrick and Pastor Short and everybody for your continued support and everything with everything going on with the coronavirus and everything. Didn't know if I was gonna be able to get in here. My man said we good.
Yeah.
So instead of going to the crib, went on and circled back here. So appreciate everybody who's looking. What's up, bro?
What's going on, bro?
So we gonna get right into it. Thankfully, we finally got some sports to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, with everything going on with the NBA stopping and all the major sports that was going on stopping with the coronavirus, we're finally able to get into some sports, and big day in the NFL today. Probably really started yesterday. I know you're a Ravens fan.
I know you like that.
And y'all got Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell was huge.
And what I like about him playing is that he can play inside and outside.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's
nightmare.
Right. That's right. He can do it all, and that's just y'all need. And I remember talking to Skinner, I think after the year, asking him what he thought y'all wanted, and I'm pretty sure it was Skinner, and I'm pretty sure he said Calais Campbell. So that's a big one. You know, him coming over, you know, from the Jags, and now y'all getting him. So that's big time.
I wish we could have pulled a trade for Diggs and brought him back home, but
going back to Maryland.
Yeah. Buffalo brought the King's ransom, as I call it.
And Buffalo brought the King's ransom, and also, if you Buffalo, I was talking Sam this morning, it's perfect for them because last year they won with John Brown as a number one receiver.
Yeah.
I'm a big John Brown fan, but John Brown's a number 2.
Yes.
So when you have now Diggs as a 1, and now you got John Brown as your 2,
but you got
with Cole Beasley and what they got, the offensive firepower, the running game, everything, you got something there.
But do you know?
And with the defense,
do you know that John Brown? You know the reason why John Brown is a 2?
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Because of his health issue.
Yeah.
Because he got the sickle cell, so
right,
he can't take the normal beating of a number 1.
Yeah.
Because he got to take plays off, and with that comes with production.
Even though last year, thankfully, he played like a 1, and he was healthy and fine.
Yeah.
You know, and my more thing is, number 1, not even really necessarily the health part of it, even though you got to stay healthy, obviously, and then injury-wise, but he's not a big type of receiver. He's fast, and he's a great route runner.
He's a quarterback,
you know what I mean?
call him.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you know, he's like a junior Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
You know, so the Bills getting him, you know what I'm saying? That's big time. That's big time.
And he can play inside now.
Yeah. That's true too. And he can play inside with the slot. So that's big for Buffalo and getting Josh Allen another tool, another weapon
But how
over
about
there.
the blockbuster that you was getting ready to talk about?
Which one was that?
The Texas one.
Oh man! And look, you know what's crazy about that one? No, honestly, I forgot about that for a second. The crazy part about that is, when I was at work yesterday, the first thing I seen was that David Johnson got traded to the Texans.
But
so
you didn't know who it was for.
So I'm like, oh man, they got, and I'm a Colts fan. So I'm kind of happy for, you know, Nook and you know, Hopkins is my man, thinking, okay, now they got David Johnson with Watson. Went till 10 minutes later, I see they got traded for each other. So I'm just like that the whole time. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. So what's your thoughts on that?
It's 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one, was he happy? Because you leaving, y'all had it was to me a set system. They could have ruled y'all division for because it was set. But it's something wasn't right there, and I think that he had this feeling that he wasn't gonna get his money.
I agree.
So he spoke on it, and they got him out for the best thing. But my second question is, what are they gonna do with all these running backs they got?
You talking about?
You got Carlos Hyde, you got Duke Johnson, and you got him.
Well, to me, it's a good problem to have because I think probably the odd man out. Obviously, they brought David Johnson there to play, and Duke Johnson they traded from last year, so probably Carlos Hyde is the odd man out. And again, if you're just tuning in, I know we just went live on the podcast, Real Sports Fan Podcast, Season 3, Episode 3. We're here with Devontae Baker, my man Sharky. You know him. We all know him. Probably got one of the most friends on Facebook. everybody know him. He a cousin. You know, everybody knows him. But we here talking sports, and then we're gonna get into a lot of his perseverance, a lot of the business ventures and things he got going on with his own business, KDL, and all that good stuff as well. But right now, we just started talking about the NFL. Now, so obviously that happens. Now, there was some issues from what I hear with DeAndre Hopkins and Bill O'Brien. So I figured it had to be
Coach.
something. The coach.
Okay.
But he was also playing GM too, which probably I think
That's a poison pill.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting on both sides. Now he goes to Arizona. Kyler Murray is there. And Larry Fitzgerald.
Let's just bring this all the way back.
Yeah.
He's going to an air attack.
Yeah.
And that's what they call it over there.
Yeah.
That's Cliff. That's Cliff, right?
Yeah.
Now, he's going into a perfect situation because now that allows who's going to play. What the question is, what safety or inside nickelback is going to be able to contain Fitzgerald going out? Yeah. And Fitzgerald is still playing like a boss.
Because Christian Kirk is there, who I'm a big Christian Kirk guy.
He's on the other side.
Yeah, and they franchise tag, from what I understand, King Drake. And Drake had a big year when he ended up getting traded there. So they got all the pieces there to do some big things.
And that's still pretty decent defense.
Yeah.
You just got some pieces.
Darren said the coach is stupid. Yeah, you traded with DeAndre Hopkins, easy top 5 receiver. I think he's top 3.
Who you replacing?
You know what I'm saying?
Randall Cobb.
Oh yeah, they did get Randall Cobb some money. It's not Randall Cobb getting his money, but he
I'm sorry,
he definitely no Hopkins. So yeah, that's crazy there. So we'll see about that.
Okay,
and then the big one today. First, I wake up. Tom Brady said he's not going back to New England. Were you first before we even get to the rest of the stuff? Were you surprised or were you not surprised about that? And tell me why.
2 weeks ago, it may have been a week ago. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick had a meeting, and it didn't go well. And to my point, don't quote me, but I think that Bill told him that he wanted to go in a whole different direction with somebody younger. And it didn't sit well with Tom because Tom thinks he's going to be able to play until he's 45.
So you think that was a conversation or that's what they said the conversation was?
I think that's what it really was. I don't really know because I wasn't a fly on the wall in there, but I wish I was. Because, man, I can only imagine how that went. You telling Tom Brady no?
So did you think he was going to come back?
No.
Yeah.
Well, he made a commercial on the Super Bowl that was cryptic. And if anybody read between lines, it was right there. He knew he wasn't going. He knew he wasn't coming back. But where is he going?
And that's what I want to get to. Before I want to pause, because I see my uncle out there, Dwayne Seaver, said that John Brown is a 3. Come on, John Brown is a 2, easily. Not a 3. He's a 2 easily. I'm trying to tell you. Go look at the tape. Go look at the tape. Tell you, great route runner, man. Healthy, had a great year last year. He said he's number 3. Oh man. So we'll see what happens next year then. So where does he go? So from the information I just got, shout out to POV, because he's the first one I seen reported, even before I seen a lot of cats on Bleacher Report, is that he's going to Tampa Bay.
Well, the writing was on the wall with that,
which I think
because you got to think.
It was between them and the Chargers. Them two and the
I
Chargers.
don't think he was ever going to the Chargers.
You think Tampa
And
Bay?
this is just my opinion, right? You got to think. Look at let's pick the left side of the Eagles. You going into the NFC South? Or you gonna go to the hardcore, and that's the West. I don't care what any of y'all say. That daggone NFC West that's a rough area. You ain't winning, especially with the way that the Chiefs is right now. So
I know you have him in Baltimore, but he was banged up in Baltimore. Come on, man, he was banged up in Baltimore. That sounds a little personal to me. That sounds personal. That makes sense now why you said that.
But and for something in his contract, when he goes there, y'all might know that he's gonna have what they call player control. So they got the pieces, and he gonna have a big target in Mike Evans.
He is.
That's gonna be the best thing, and Mike is ready.
Yeah, he is. He's ready. You got Mike Evans on one side. Shout out my boy Chris Godwin. Both of them won me a lot of fantasy this year. Taking home a lot of 2 weeks. If he didn't get hurt at the end, I would have took the other one. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them boys. You got O.J. Howard. You got Cameron Brate. Like I said, the running game can be good with Ronald Jones and that. But when you got my main man, one of the coolest white guys I know, Bruce Arians, as the head coach.
And Bruce can let him do whatever he wants.
And people think that Tom can't still push it down the field, but he can still push it down the field. And the thing about Bruce, he's going to take chances. And he's great. He's a great quarterback guru. It's things that he even did with Carson Palmer late in his career.
Yeah, and he's like a whisperer.
Yeah. And Jameis, what did he throw? 30 interceptions last year.
30 for 30.
Yeah, 30 for 30.
He's a famous.
He's a wrong 30 for 30. Yeah. So you got a chance to get Tom Brady. You go get Tom Brady. So he got a $30 million deal. That's huge. We it's gonna be more talk.
Can we give homeboy a shout out to shout out to James Winston, Mr. 30 for 30.
Mr. 30 for 30. That's crazy. Then, as an Indianapolis Colts fan, it does my heart good. Last year I was excited about my team. I thought we could make a Super Bowl run, and then right before the start of the season, not before preseason, before the start of the season, Andrew Luck retires. I won't get into that right now. But this year we come in. Jacoby Brissett had a decent year last year, but I don't think he's enough to take us over the top yet. I think he needs to keep learning. We get Mr. Phillip Rivers. I got a couple of Colts fans that didn't want that to happen, but as I told them, our head coach is his former quarterback coach. So they go together like milk and cereal. It's gonna flow together fine. He takes chances. He didn't have the best year last year, but he still, I think, can be a top 10 quarterback in this league going in.
My only concern with
Phillip
is the fact that he goes and he got that Brett Favre type of situation.
He gonna take some shots, take some chances. He gonna throw some picks.
It's that type of where you can. It's like you do it, but then it may be in the wrong time. So, like, good pickup, but I would went after Tom.
Tom wasn't going there. That's the thing. You only going after who you think. Tom wasn't going to Indy. That's one place. With that rivalry we've had all year. That's one place he wasn't going to go.
Oh, so he's one of them stick to his guns type of situation. He ain't going to the rivalry.
Yeah. So if you think that we can get him, then yeah. But I'm happy with Phillip. I know a lot of people ain't, but I'm good with Phillip. We'll see what happens. We also traded and got made the trade with the 49ers and got the second best defensive tackle in football.
That was nice.
So we're making moves. We gotta short the receiver, give T.Y. some help in the draft. We gotta go receiver.
With that, he was the odd man out too. Because you see everything that they had on their line. Where was he gonna fit?
Yeah,
they were pushing him out.
Yep. And then Jason Witten went to the Raiders. Surprisingly, which kind of surprised me. He went to the Raiders, so that's like an afterthought. Cam is seeking a trade because did you hear about? Ty Perry on the time.
But Lance.
Why did he go to the Raiders, Jason Witten? Or something about the
Witten.
Witten, I don't know. Because if you come out of retirement, you went back to the Cowboys. I thought Cowboys would have kept him.
You know how a car got reserve gas tank?
Yeah.
He's at the end of that reserve gas tank.
Yeah, he's at the end of that. He's at the end of that for sure. So we'll see how that goes. But did you hear the news with Carolina?
Yeah.
Cam Newton is seeking a trade because they signed.
Was on the wall.
They're going to sign Teddy Bridgewater. And I know some people are upset with Cam's situation, but I'm happy for Teddy, man. Teddy had a real bad injury a couple years ago. People thought he might have possibly been done. Learning behind Drew Brees and him coming in for Brees last year, he played real good.
Faith in God on that.
Yeah, faith in God all the way.
When you come back from something like that, they write you off. Same. And shout out to my guy Derrick Rose. Before this whole coronavirus thing, you had a good season, but they did the same thing to you, bro.
We'll get into Mr. Rose too later.
They did the same thing to you, and they do a lot. They do it to a lot of them, and they think they did the RG3, and right now. RG3 is catching a lot of teams that want to get him because they think he still got stuff in his and he's only 28 years old.
RG3, he ain't even a starter though. I can't see it. If they want him to be a starter, they crazy, But we'll see. But I'm happy for Teddy. Got a deal about $20 million a year for 3 years.
Yeah,
so
3 years, $60 million.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But man, I'm just happy to be able to turn on First Take today.
And she just
while I'm working from home since they got us. Quarantine and no more than 50, then no more than 10, and all that good stuff. Everybody stay safe out there. But it's interesting to be able to get up and finally look at some sports and get into stuff and just take your mind off some stuff.
Also, shout out to the band board for allowing me to sanitize your whole place. 250%. I'm not lying to you.
Smells good in here. Smells good in here. So we want to touch a little bit of NFL. I did want to transition, man, because
before we go.
No, go ahead. It's your world. What?
Before we get out of the football world, shout out to my Ravens for Michael Brockers, because that's gonna our line should be nightmarish now. Because Calais can get through there, he can punch through either the inside or the outside. He's 6'8". Then you got them uglies in there. And I heard a quote from somebody who said it's all good until the Chiefs quarterback start running around off and stick.
Yeah.
You gotta worry about that outside because we still fast on the outside edges. We just didn't have an interior rush. Everything else is good.
You got an early prediction or something for me? You feeling real good about it?
I want to go. Well, my prediction for this year. Yeah, but my prediction last year, I said I gave us honestly 11-5, and shout out to my cousin Bonky, because Bonk, you had made a bet with me and told me we was gonna go 6-10.
Wow. 6-10. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that went a lot different.
Yeah, so I'm looking at 13-3.
A lot of people, man.
I'm going 13-3 for this one.
Okay. All right.
But before I can give that, before I can give the whole stamp on it, we gotta go number one receiver.
Yeah. And y'all did a lot last year, and with basically just Hollywood Brown and a bunch of guys. So yeah, y'all definitely be able to go and pick somebody up. Man.
We got the capital enough to go get Julio since they going on a firestorm.
Man,
y'all going on a fire sale? The owners of the Atlanta Falcons, holla about homeboy.
Hey, if they don't fire sale, come to Indianapolis. We the ones need you. We the one need you, man. But yeah, it's a lot of.
How do y'all team look offensively?
Offensively, there we got the run game with Mac. Again, we just need another.
It's
receiver.
The same problem with us.
Offensive line has been solid. We just need another receiver. We needed that quarterback. Ebron probably back, but we'll just stay with Doyle, and go there. So this is all about the quarterback and getting another receiver with us. So
you want to know a crazy thing I heard?
What's that?
Yeah, before this whole Tom Brady they was talking about Tom Brady. It was one crazy media outlet that was trying to link him to the Jets. And I always ask, why do people always try to link people to the Jets? Y'all love making the Jets relevant.
Right. Yeah. Why would? Yeah.
It was serious too, man. So I was like,
The Sports Fan Podcast. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. So I want to transition to me. If a lot of people don't know, they might just think, well, Lance and Sharkey met because Lance married Sharky's sister, or that. But what people don't know is we know each other since we were little kids.
Yeah.
Before I didn't even know you had a sister. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
we can go all the way back to church.
We go all the way back to church. You know what I'm saying? Mount Piscataway Church, man, 209 Port Street. So and then just from coming to my house and playing the video games and
my father's relationship with your grandfather.
Yeah, my grandfather, your father. And all that, and then how all this came together. So I say all that first to say I'm proud of this man right here because I know the grind he had. I know the adversity he went through. I know the even when he started to get a more relevant in the business world, and I'm gonna let him talk about it in a second. But that even people still wanted to dial him or still didn't think he could do it, or still was like, what about this, what about that? But and he kept his faith. He kept looking toward the mark. He kept, focusing on the positive things, and with prayer and with help and with God, he did it. So talk about KDL, man, and what I mean by starting with KDL, tell us the meaning behind the name, and then what made you want to start getting into the landscape business.
All right, well, we're going to start with the name. The name stands for Kevin, which is my little brother, Kevin Handy Jr. He passed away February 17, 2000. It was suicide. I'm a big suicide awareness guy, and I always said to myself, if I want to do something, I was gonna put his name in anything I did, or he was gonna be a part of it. That's my guardian angel. Well, on December 31st of 2011, 2010 going into 2011, I lost a real dear person to me, and that was Lynette Copper, and our relationship goes back to Oxford. Remember when people play ball down Oxford?
Yeah, I remember that.
Her dad used to bring her down Oxford, right? Yeah. And I always was wondering, who's this little kid, this little bow-legged kid who could just dribble out this world? But she would dribble and she shot like a kangaroo. So she shot on her tippy toes but it, like she shot like this, and it would go in.
Yep.
So you know, built a relationship with her from 2006 until, well, it was, I would say 2004 until, you know, her untimely passing. And before she had passed, I had stayed with her up in, we were staying in Ferndale, up in Maryland, up across the bridge. And she was going to CCB Catonsville.
Yeah,
Is it CCBC?
Yeah, I think CCBC. Yeah.
And she got the record up there, scoring record up there, matter of fact. If I'm correct. She got something up there that has to do with scoring. But we was making this plan on what you want to do, Shark. I know you like doing your little hustles. And what I mean by hustles, meaning anything that had to do with home improvement, it did not matter. I knew how to do because the training from my grandparents and also from my uncle Arthur Lee and my cousins.
Arthur Lee.
You know, I got that from them. Like, you gotta go out and you gotta do something. Even if there's nothing out there, you still gotta find something to do. And you see, I would do it, and I would do it in my spare as just a love until I actually got used to it. But what got me into the actual landscaping part of it, it's kind of funny. But I was bad when I was in school, and my grandmother, which from down here, with my father's mom, would call my mother, and she would tell her, Wanda, your son, he need to come up there for y'all, you know, on the weekend because he's being bad or whatever. This time she ain't talked to my mom, she talked to my grandmother, which was no. Wow.
That's all about it.
And this is at the end of the year. And I messed up on the last week of the year, and she told my grandmother. And
how old were you now?
I was going like in the 9th grade.
Yeah.
So it was like going from the 8th grade going to 9th grade. No, 9th grade going to 10th.
Yeah.
And, whoo, boy. She said, okay, well, the last day of school, send him up here. And you remember how Star was, right?
Yeah.
So you remember how the backyard was?
Yep.
I had to cut that grass.
Yeah.
And this is when the heat used to be like 95 right after school.
Easily.
Yeah, well, I cut it the first day, and you know, she had my uncle cut all my hair straight down. Yeah. Straight down. And I had to cut the grass.
That's how Jeff
yeah. And I cut that grass. I'm done. All right, we'll cut it again. What you mean? The grass is gone.
He said, what you mean?
Yeah, it's gone. What else am I cutting? You gotta cut it until the sun go down. And I got up the next morning, I had cut the grass again. And a punishment turned into a gift. So shout out to my grandmother for giving me the gift.
You know, and thanks for sharing that story, because it's something how a lot of things that, you know, the way we were brought up, you know, our grandparents, our parents, you know, and we used to consider hard labor, consider it being too tough on things like that, but they help mold us, you know, into the people, the men, the women that we are today, you know, and so many life lessons and different things. So I'm glad you shared it, because your grandmother wasn't no joke, you know what I mean? She was trying. The short time I knew that, you know, I loved her for the short time I know she didn't play no games.
The whole
pistol. Yeah, I know she didn't play no games, so you know, that was hard work at that time. You was like, you even said like, I gotta do it again.
Yeah.
You know, but look how it transitioned. It helps you indicate it, because bro, I've seen you and DJ Desiree Chain, you know, DJ played the keyboard in church. One thing he even said on her is that people forget that everyone has a past, but Sharky has had the endurance ever since he's known you. You always had the endurance to basically exceed and keep going. And thanks for sharing that, DJ. And that's definitely respect, because when you talk about the heat and different things like that, bro, I've seen you when you were first starting off. It could be 90-some degrees out there.
Do you remember the carts?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Hard work, bro. Yeah. Like you put the work in, and we're like you weren't gonna be denied. So tell me when how did you mold KDL? Like what was the next step in getting the process going?
All right. Well, I'm gonna get back to when Lynette had. All right. When Lynette had passed, it's just the New Year. I stayed at my cousin's house, and I was in a whole depressive mode because I was just getting out of my brother's situation, and now I'm going right back into another one.
Yeah.
So one of my things was I felt if anybody understands what falling from the bottom is, there was death, a real significant death could really knock you over to your knees and further. And I've been there twice. And the second time I went there, I wasn't sitting there. And I just kept on fighting. I kept on fighting. And just kept on praying. And I remember going for a job, kept on going for jobs, and people was going, well, either you're overqualified or you got too many jobs or whatever. And I would go to the unemployment office. Unemployment office send me to a job they know that's not going to hire me. Just so I can come back to them and do this. Try again, and I got mad. I said, I'm not going to keep on coming back to no place who is not going to hire me. What do you keep on telling me to come back for? And the man says, well, he got frustrated with me and said, well, if you don't want, if that's so, you got to hire your daggone self. But he said in a different...
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
He said in a different way than that.
And I remember walking back to my aunt's house, back River Parkway. I remember walking back mad, and I remember saying, Alice, you know this daggone man told me? And she said, what? So this man told me if I want a job, I got to hire my daggone self. And she laughed, and she said, well, you got to do what he said. And that was the day that I actually was like, okay, I'm going to hire my daggone self. Yeah. So shout out to my cousin Alvester, because a lot of the things and a lot of tools I had to complete the jobs I had came from him. And I remember one of my first jobs, shout out to a lady, she moved away. Her name is Keisha Smith. And she had a place on West Street, you know where William Howland's barbershop was? Yeah. She was the first person to actually give me a actual trial. And what she asked me to do, what she asked me to do, if you ever remember back in the day when we was growing up, that little plot that was there was nothing but bricks, dirt, rocks, and anything that whatever the person dropped from the night before was there. And so she wanted bricks done. Well, I mean, she wanted them dug out. She wanted all that dug out, and she wanted pretty flowers there because it was a salon. And I remember we dug out, what was it? I had a foot and a half down. And the reason why I made a foot and a half was because I created a T-cycle. And the reason why the man up there, the Korean man, is having a hard time trying to cut that out is because you're going to have a hard time getting it out. Yeah, I took it all the way down to its base because it was clay. Gotcha. You had clay, you had dirt, you had bottles, bricks. Right. The worst.
So that was your first job. First job.
The first and the hardest.
Yeah, how did that transition to the next step as far as you building from one clientele to some more?
People start seeing. Well, from that, I spent like almost 4 weeks out there. That whole 4-week period, people would just come past and see me. It was like in the busiest part of the day. Of town because it's an important West.
Yeah, summertime.
So you got people going from work. You got people coming from work. You got people being nosy. You know what I'm saying? You got people just want to see what you're doing. So I remember hearing one guy tell me, said, you building you digging your grave, your company's grave. And I was going, nah. And I've been rocking KDL since 2012. And what brought that part on was I went to school. And shout out to Kelly Gibson, because she gave me a chance to go to school up in, to go to college up in Syracuse. And I went to Brown and Stratton. And I never forget going up there. I moved up there, going to the college, and seeing all them people and taking that test, and came out 95 to 100 people. Because me personally, I didn't really get a chance. Once I got out of school, that was around the time my brother died. I did not want to go back to no kind of school. So that was a second chance, and I thank you for that. But it also sharpened me up because I wasn't going for a degree. I was going for the weapons. And that's what I got, which is the books. So all y'all kids that's out there, I need y'all to understand, those books that y'all think is, that's a whole bunch of stuff. That's weapons. Use them.
Your weapons are
sharpen yourself, because your mind is the biggest weapon. It's big. It's dangerous. It's more dangerous than a bomb. Your mind. You just got to use it in the right way. But with that, they gave me my adversity because you gotta think before then. I started with the whole cart thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember asking people for rides and stuff, and you know I would always get the runaround, or because I had too much stuff, you know I would always get the runaround. So I remember walking. One of my biggest adversity jobs was walking to.
Yeah, you walked that thing. Bro.
I walked from Kelly Gibson Street to my cousin's house. Jeez.
I remember coming back, seeing Picky on one time when I had a Charger and putting the lawnmower in the
going to
back
Pork
of that
House.
one time. Pork House,
Yeah. And that was a faithful one.
Yeah,
Shout out to them because that was a faithful thing.
Yeah.
I was going out to his mom's house and I would
Pork
walk. I would walk from there all the way out there. Cousin Anthony. Yeah. And I would walk all the way out to his house because he was one of the second people to give me a tryout.
Yeah.
And throughout that, you know, everybody who gave me a shot at y'all yard, thank y'all because y'all built this. Y'all helped me build this right here.
Sure.
Job by job, y'all helped me build this. And so I had a lot of times where I was going to back and forth to North Carolina.
I was gonna ask about that.
And I remember like I had a time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you going back and forth? Was it more you thinking about the next step? Was it you just gaining more weapons, resources, or was it you?
Well, it was
about
me
moving at the time, or trying to
really just. I had found like I was at a part here where I needed to get away.
Mm-hmm.
It was the work part was going good because I had already, you know, once I went to school and came back and seen how her yard came out because I put bulbs in there. So I didn't get to see the actual turnout until the next season. And when it turned out, it was lovely. So like that part happened. Got that whole part done, and I redid that whole thing from, you know, I used peat moss, dirt, like the dirt from farms and stuff. And I cured it all in. And I used chemicals to the part where it was for feed. That whole bottom had feed in there, so it was enough to feed them flowers for 3 years.
One thing about you when you do a job, you and for people that know, if he ain't done that, he just ain't doing any type of way. He gonna get the best, whether it was you coming and doing the stones for me, or in the back you had to dig the thing for me for the water.
Oh, that trench thing.
The trench thing. I mean, so
shout out to my sister because my sister is a whole she's a beast.
Yeah, she is.
Because we was out there in the trenches, really in the trench.
But a lot of people still shout you out, man. Man, Stewart say keep pushing. You're doing good.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Said though, you know, Shima said love and keep grinding. Boot, DJ again. You know, talk about getting all you can while we're here on the earth, pursuing your dreams. So
another thing that me and Mr. Derek, he's my mentor.
No, hold on. Before you get into
there's a reason why I'm saying this because it was something that you said. I'm gonna jump off of it.
Good.
But
you stay with
he says we have this talk about roses. You know, if you ever like when you go to a funeral and the last thing they say to you while you know the person's laying in the casket, give them that roses while they're here.
Still smelling, man.
Well, you know sometimes you gotta pick your own roses. Because if you don't and you keep on waiting for them, you're gonna be waiting forever.
I like that.
And you gonna be your air gonna go before you get your first rose that you look for. So if you ain't grinding for your roses, don't look for them because you're not planting nothing out there.
Yeah, that's true.
No, we can now.
No. I'm glad you said with Derek because obviously, you know, with Derek, would mean to me, and I know it mean to you and for the community. But how did you get, you know, in touch? How did you and Derek connect for you guys to?
Well,
to
my
help you out? And then tell us more about, you know, how it all started and everything.
All right. Well, I was moving back and forth between Easton and Cambridge when I would move away, and it was like we would go. Like I would stay with my father, and I remember I did a job over there with my father. This is an adversity story. That's a quick one. I had one of my cousins. His name is Norman Copper. He had offered me a job to cut down a tree. Now, when I tell y'all about this tree situation, it's kind of weird, but what happened was I asked my dad to get me a chainsaw or some kind of thing that cut the tree down, and my dad didn't trust me with a chainsaw. So he was like, "Well, I'll give you this daggone." It's like what's some little knives? It's like a fold up knife. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
One, but it's a cutter. It's a real cutter, right? Yeah. So I did that, and it was a nice, like, wasn't a big tree, but it was
a good.
It was a good one. That, man, look, I went through it. But what I ended up doing, when he gave me the tools to do it, and he said, "Trust in God," and I knocked the tree down. But the things I had to do to knock the tree down with just those tools.
Oh my God!
I had a spade.
That's crazy, bro.
I had a spade and a daggone
crazy.
and that knife, and
I went. Whole tree.
But what I did was this:
I cut. Tight as I don't know what.
I dug all the way to the root.
Yeah, you
and
cut
cut
it
and then cut the root.
Good.
But it fell. Once I cut the root, it
that's
fell.
That's a lot of work. Though.
Shout out to Travis, because Travis can tell this story more than I could, because that's where I got the more than man. But you see, I moved. I felt like it was. I needed a change. Yeah. So I moved to North Carolina, and I did it off of a hunch in the faith, because I was really supposed to end up in Atlanta, Georgia, but thank God that I didn't. And when I got to Charlotte, I met my guy LeBron was down there, and he seen me on Facebook talking about I was in Charlotte, and he had hit me and was like, "Well, where you at?" I told him the bus stop. We get there, he's on Pittsburgh. He's like, "What you gonna do while you down here?" So I'm gonna try to hustle any way I can. And every day I would leave, it was like a house that was, before I got to the corner, some guys, and these guys would always try to get my attention. And they would always tell me, keep grinding, you're going to get somewhere. And these guys end up being real good friends of mine, like lifelong friends. One name is Brew, one name is Gino. And when I was down there, between LeBron and his family and Gino and the friends that was around there and Brew, that was my family net. Also, my cousin Jermaine was down there, and James.
Oh, okay.
So I had a nice family net where I was down the way, and I was 6.5 hours away.
Right.
And I remember I had an adversity situation where I thought I was not gonna make it to this. And what it was I went, I was down there, something happened, where a situation happened, and a house got hit, and I got sent back down there. And the stories that was told about me here was just crazy, because they did not know what really was going on, and they thought I was on my own. And shout out to Gino and Brew is the reason why I'm still here, because without them, I would have been locked up, and for God knows how, in a whole different state, away from my family.
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah.
You said that. I forgot about that.
And my sister, Keita, she was there the whole, when I got to that, she'd be priceless, and she was there the whole time. So shout out to her. Yeah. And Rat and Boo, because they rode the whole way to North Carolina and back. But that was adversity, because I thought I was done. And
like flash before your eyes.
Yeah, and I prayed to God, and I'm here. But I took my craft more seriously after that.
It was a wake-up call.
Yeah, because when I came back home, I would try it again. And the last time I went down to North Carolina was I would say a year ago. No, a year and a half. And I went down there for a refresh, and shout out to, again, my cousin Kwanzaa, because she gave me that refreshment, just like she helped me with school when I was up there. I got a lot of people that was silent, they don't get too much of the roses, but they was there.
They was there.
Y'all know who y'all are. I don't gotta speak on y'all. But you see, they was the ones that was keep pushing sharp. But I also had Kevin and Lynette in my head that was telling me to keep on pushing. So when it was time to come up with a name for this, and I came back home, first name I thought of was KDL. And when it came out, they looked at it and was like, so what the KDL means? And you put the acronyms together, and that's my name in the middle, their names on the sides. So they're not dying in vain, because as long as I got this business going, they're still alive.
They're wrong. Well said, man. So how did you get in touch with Derek as far as him helping. Tell me the role that Derek plays in.
It was interesting because one of my little cousins' name is Isaiah Handy, and you see, I have conversations with him, and our conversations is way different because the way people probably would view him, they wouldn't think that he would have that much intellect with him. But you know, when you sit down and talk to him, he's very smart.
Yeah.
And one thing he did was he pushed me then to meet Mr. Derek because he was supposed to meet Mr. Derek, and he was like, man, he had something to do. So he was like, I know who would take this serious and would probably run with this daggone thing. So he was like, go meet him. And I met him. And never forget, it was him and Kendrick sitting over the building, the original building. And like, I mean, you know, nice to meet you. You know, I just wanted to meet you. Excuse me. I said I wanted to meet you. And he was like, okay, so how can we help you? And I was like, well, maybe you can help me with trying to get my business in order because I'm having a hard time trying to put things in order. Because I was lame duck at it, as they say. And I was tired of losing. So I was like, I need somebody to help me put me in the right position. So he was like, what do you need, money? And I was like, no, I just need to find out how I can do this. So he was like, come holler at me in 6 months. Now, listen to that part. I felt a little bit defeated because I was like,
6 months he didn't take me serious. You probably kind of thought
exactly. So I ended up moving, and Faith. I moved to North Carolina. So when I moved back here, the reason why I moved back here is because my aunt had, God rest her soul, but she had beat cancer twice, and I think it was either once or twice. But when she had beat it, she went for the second time. It was, they really did come back real aggressive. So I wanted to spend as much time, or just to be in the close area of her, you know, until it was time for God to take her home. So one of my first jobs when I came back home was my cousin. Was the house over there. And
we don't know where's over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 20 Joe White. And I did the front, and the way that I did the front, he didn't. Well, it was kind of shocking to him. It was shocking to my cousin Hickey because of the fact that I took a hatchet.
I know you did.
And I edged the whole front before I put the mulch down, and they was trying to figure out what was I doing with this hatchet. But I had a clear cut line.
You had a vision already. I used on Louis.
Yeah, I had a clear, like it cleared it. It was like the line was so sharp. It was sharp because of the hatchet, and the hatchet was a brand new hatchet. So, you know, that bad boy when it's at the freshest, it's like a shape up. And that's like, in that type of business, what you gotta do, you have to put that lip on there because without the lip, it's like going to the haircut. It's like going to the barbershop and getting not a shape up, but getting a full haircut. So you still gotta have your hairline right. So on that part, that's what I did.
You seen that?
Yeah.
And that made him know that, oh, okay, this kid.
Yeah, and
he just ain't throwing something together.
Yeah, and the first thing he says was, "Oh, so you back around?" And I'm looking up like I know that voice. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm back around." He said, "Okay, well, since you back around, when you done here, come across the street and holler at me. I got a job for you." And then my first job with him was the mulch and to do the same thing I did over here at my aunt's across the street at the original band building. And this was at the process of when this was being built. And I remember having a conversation with him before this had happened, like way before they did construction, and it was still a parking lot. Now, for anybody who lived around here would know that this is this was the original daycare. Well, this is the first original band. Well, the original band place was it was, I want to say a funeral home, Mr. Shill's funeral home. Just when you was young. And then it became a Head Start.
Yeah, Head Start.
This was the place that we were sitting in right now was a parking lot. God.
How many members band got?
461.
Is it 4 or 6?
460. No, my fault. 641.
641, right? Yeah.
641.
641.
And counting.
And counting, because some ain't even counting.
Yeah.
So if you ain't signed up, sign up. But and thank you for telling that story, because that just shows that you just wasn't gonna throw anything together. You didn't have the proper tools to do that particular job. You use what you had, and that's what it's important for kids and just even adults to know. Use what you got, because you use what you have, then you'll end up doing a great job to where you can then buy the things that you need to make it even easier.
I got,
you know what I'm saying,
that kind of tools from my grandfather Melvin, because every time shout out to my guy, rest his soul, Melvin Baker. But every time he came home, I was with him, and he would go on jobs, and that's like it basically with my business is like he wasn't just he didn't just have one feather in his jack hat. He was a full jack. And what I mean by a full jack is when you're a jack of all trades. You don't just have one skill, it's multiple skills. And if you actually
get money.
Yeah, and if he had the knowledge of the money scheme that people have now, he would be rich, because the way to get rich or to be wealthy is to live off of multiple revenue streams. Not just two, multiple. And my job, what I do is I don't just landscape. I jump in the construction field. I move a person. I wash a car. I clean the house. I clean the office. I clean this place right here that we're in. And I have a contract. This is KDL's first contract. Dude, BAM, is this building. Thank you. I'm greatly appreciated.
Now, who do you have working with you with KDL?
Well, currently it's just me right now.
Okay.
But you know, you gotta start. I'm starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
I always start from the bottom to make sure that, you know, you get a look. I got this thing with me where I'm not comfortable starting with some kind of a push-up. You gotta grind for it, because if you don't grind for it, you're not gonna appreciate it. You're gonna take it for advantage. So
it's funny you said that, because I was telling your sister the other day, somebody put in the door. I was in the window, somebody was putting stuff in the door. Like, what is it? Who witness or what? You know, what's going on? That's you know, I mean, that's the only thing you don't be saying to them. You don't know witness. You know. But so I go to the door, and they put in there free quotes for landscaping, and it was something else. I ripped it right up. And the first thing I thought about, I said, I got Sharky. If I got Sharky, I got Tony. You know, I got different people that do this. My uncle has done business. So, you know, I'm going to give y'all the money before I get some money. So I just said it to say, man, I'm proud of the grind. And even if you get knocked back a foot or two, you always still look forward, and you don't let it discourage you, man. So 8 years, man, keep grinding.
But I learned something from you, because I gotta give you your daggone blessings too. I have to. I really do. And because you gotta think of them. Just think of them days where I was defeated, and I ain't had nobody call on. I called you, and
yeah, sometimes, bro.
And I would just vent to you. You just sit there. And it was in this business time, because I would always tell you this, it's like a baby. It's a bit growing the business is like a child, and I don't have kids, but this is an 8-year-old child right here that it's been stubborn, it's been lenient, it's been a process, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I work for myself, and that's been my ultimate goal through this whole situation since 2011, was to work for myself. Because when you do, you have financial freedom. And another thing, you don't got to worry about hearing a boss every morning. He can come in with one of his own attitudes or something that's on his mind from personal and bring it in. You got to catch that wrath. Nah, you don't have to do that when you're on. And, you know, I had a lot of people who really, I guess it's because of, if you let off that you can't do nothing, people will think that you can't do nothing. But I battle with two things that I don't think anybody would be able to recover from. And with that became I turned that depression into motivation and into just an ultimate grind. And that was my fire, because I wasn't going to go see no psychiatrist to tell a psychiatrist that I was depressed or something like that. because I was gonna be allowing the pills to take over my body or over my mind, because they can't take over your body, just control your mind. And I just dealt with it. I wrote it out, and through that became my strength. And adversity, consistency, persistency. I mean, persistence, consistency. Yeah. You know, and all of those made me.
Well, that's good that you said that, because one thing Derek said on here is that you made it because you listened, you learned, you trusted, and you believed in the process. He said point blank, it was hard work. So again, and we all appreciate you giving us love and this and that, but you're the one, like you said, you had to listen, you had to continue to learn, you had to trust in the process. You know, as Embiid said with the Sixers. You know what I'm saying?
And it was a real process. It was a real
process, and you had to continue to believe. So, and it's hard work at the end
of
the day.
That guy right there, give me a couple. Tell him give me a couple.
Bruce said
give me about 30 days.
Give me
about 30 days. I got you. Let me get my other trucks. Is out. And with this now, I met Mr. Derek. He told me, he gave me a blueprint of things to do, and he told me to follow him, and he was with this, it was everything would work out in where it was supposed to. And one of my biggest jobs I got from him, and it was like doors. And have you ever heard of this this is white man, right? And he has he's a spiritual guy. He has a thing called Doors. There's a podcast called Doors, right? And it's Doors 1 through 12 or something like that. But what he does, he talks about each door. It's like a process, right? So with each adversity moment or each testimony is a door. It's,
or a test.
So once you conquest that test, you going through that door.
I got you.
And with behind that door, it could be one of the things that you really wanted. So granted, I had a place when I was in North Carolina, but I never had a place here. So when I was coming up and through this whole process, I was staying with family members, and thank God for those, because without them, I don't know where I would be. But I remember times where it was just on some wow.
Yeah.
Where am I going? If something happened. They get in trouble for having to stay there. Where am I going to go type of situation. And I remember coming to town and meeting him. It'd be 30 or 40 minutes late because I'm getting in town. And he said, where do you stay? And I would always shun it off. I'm staying with my cousin. I'm all right. And he got tired of hearing that. And him and Kendrick had a meeting.
I'm laughing because I know Derek's so good. I can see his facial expressions and everybody here said
like this. So, and I remember Kendrick saying, I'll never forget the day. And it was the day, 2 days before we went to the family reunion.
Oh, okay.
So, he was like, I want to meet up with you. I got something to show you. So he offered me the offer, and I took it, and it was a blessing. It was my greatest blessing. And to me, I have not let them people down since.
You haven't. Yeah, you haven't. And warmed my heart. You know that, you got your own place, and you're doing good, and you went and got your license.
That was the biggest challenge there, Lance, because with him, again, with him. He goes, so man, we gotta get you your license and this and that. You know how he gets, he's pumped. So I'm like, and he was like, well, you don't sound like you can. I'm like, well, I got these fines this at the third. Okay, well, we gotta do this, and we got the fines out of the way. So what's the next excuse? And this is him. What's your next excuse? So I'm like, there ain't no more excuses. I just gotta do it. So we went to Shane's, and I remember him telling me, don't mess this up. I got you. Don't mess up. I'm like, I promise you, I'm going to rock this. And I passed it. But I think I shot myself more than anybody else with the passing and driving thing because I was too nervous. And I remember my cousin. I remember Toya Pinkett was in there with me. Toya Cornish, I'm sorry. She was in there, and she says, it's nothing to be you nervous about? Well, let's just rock this wing. And I'm sitting there, and everything went as well. And then the driving part did that part, and just to see that my family was proud that
Yeah, man.
things were starting to
Yeah.
go into place.
Yeah, man. So that's dope. And even that's what Dad said. That's a hustle man Sharky came a long way from a shopping cart and a push more.
I'm telling you.
Push more.
And you see, you know, sometimes I
That's
want
when
I
he
want to
said
go
that, that's real sad.
shout look no.
Yeah.
Shout out to Safeway before y'all get
Trying to say it's close.
No, because y'all carts made some money.
I be took them carts too, boy.
Man, I was seeing them carts all over the place. I was making use of them.
Yeah.
But it was.
But what
but
Dad
you
said
gotta
is real
think,
though.
yeah, I
He did,
mean.
bro. A lot of people would have been even ashamed of even doing that. You know what I'm saying?
And
Because
you know, you
was never
gotta
too
think of a
prideful
lot
or
of people
anything
that you
like
seen that I seen
Yeah.
ride past me and laugh.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like,
yeah.
like y'all laughing,
Yeah,
but
laughing now. Laugh all the way to the bank.
yeah.
No, it's coming to you. Just keep grinding, man. I'm proud of you. You know, and getting everything you do and continue to do. Before we transition and get into, 'cause I know our time running short. Before we get into a little bit of basketball,
I love this one.
yeah, I just want to say, if people want to, want you to do their yard or clean or do it, how can they reach you?
Well, I'm in the process of getting my Wix. I'm getting my Wix website filled out, but you can reach me at 410-253-5532. If I don't answer, I'm at work. Just leave me a message. I'll get right back to you. Or on Facebook. That's the quickest way that you can literally get back at me is through Facebook Messenger or Facebook.
And again, he does a great job, man. He's always hooking us up at the crib.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And we not even done there because I got to come back out there with some more things.
So
I got some more ideas.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. So
Hey, get down there to your aunt's house too.
down Antrante?
Yeah.
Yeah. So transitioning to before we get to the NBA, we're gonna talk some basketball at the very last second. I want to see your prediction for this year. But we were big wrestling fanatics growing up. I mean, big wrestling fanatics. I mean, I showed your niece.
Oh
my
no!
wound. I showed your niece my wound.
We gotta talk about this
Last night.
Oh, we gotta talk about this for real.
That was through a window of Richards when we was like 11 or 12. That was probably back in 90.
I played the fifth.
99, maybe 2000.
And to anybody that gets on here and
Spirit.
try to agree to that, I play. I do not know what y'all talking about.
Well, I showed
Look,
last night.
Look, you see what
Last
What she say? What did he do?
I know. I said for short. So your top 5 wrestlers of all time. Top 5 wrestlers of all time. And the thing, and the reason I say wrestlers, because some people used to just watch WWF, and not
No,
WWE,
not us.
WWF. Some people just watch WCW.
Do you watch?
We watch everything.
But okay,
we watch everything. So
what we did right on Sundays that we
wrestling
knew that we knew there was gonna be a pay-per-view. Me and shout out to Calvin Thomas.
Calvin, Wandy.
We would go to his house knowing
Wandy.
that his mom was gonna cook us cookies, anything we wanted. Shout out to Miss Justine.
Yeah, she's hooked us up.
But she would let us wrestle.
Yeah,
I don't know how many moms or parents out there will allow us kids to wrestle. And we had, I'm talking about the whole.
was over there.
Yeah, he was, man, and he was saying vicious.
We got no time.
But we would go and we would sit there and we could watch the pay-per-views at his house.
Yeah, we watch all the
Every pay-per-view.
We got all them joints.
Oh my gosh.
All them joints.
And not just like you said, not just
one.
It was WCW.
Yeah, we went back and forth.
But me and him even found. You remember the ones that we found on ESPN?
Yeah, yep.
With Jeff Jarrett was first and them jumped off at.
But your top five.
Now my top 5 is Stone Cold, The Rock.
Is this in the order? You just give me 5.
Just giving you any 5. I'm a wing with this
Go
one.
ahead. Stone
Cold, The Rock. I'll leave my Bret Hart on there.
Okay.
Cause there ain't nobody. Let's see. I need a monster. Undertaker.
Okay.
And then
You got Undertaker. You got Bret Hart. You got The Rock. You got Stone Cold. It's one thing you missing. I can't believe when you said it.
The reason why his arm is the way it is.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though Goldberg pissed me off with this last thing he did, you wrong on that one, dog.
My top 5, the thing about Goldberg, I think he's a great athlete. I think he was very impactful to the game, but as far as wrestling, I I don't think he don't make my top 5, but this will be my top 5. First of all, I can't believe you left off the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. I can't believe you did that.
Because I left that for you.
I can't believe you did that.
I left that one for you. Yeah, I left that for you.
Ric Flair, the Stinger. Come on, man. You know Sting has got to be in there. Sting.
Yeah, I missed him.
I'll give you.
You know, I miss Shawn Michaels too.
Shawn Michaels, thank you. You take my other one. Shawn Michaels, that's my third one. I will put Stone Cold because of his impact. And number 5, I would put The Rock. I would leave Bret Hart, and I like Bret Hart. Bret Hart be 5, 6. Bret Hart is still kind of underrated to me, but for my top 5, I'm gonna leave him.
Wrestling standpoint, I can't say that.
Yeah.
Because
he was a technician.
He was a technician. Full technician.
But there's some other underrated guys that we will never get to, like Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, technician. Other guys, Hogan doesn't make the list for us. Hogan's probably top 5 for a lot of people, but not for us. We really watch wrestling. Hogan was just more. He was strong. He did.
No. Hogan was the reason why I didn't put John Cena on my list is because Hogan was the face. Yeah. When you are the face, you don't have to do nothing but just show up.
Yeah. Some people would say Triple H too.
Now, and if I want to go by dominance and everything, I could have just said Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But I didn't because that's cheap.
And Undertaker was a good one too. I want to see the Undertaker Sting WrestleMania that never happened. And that could have happened. Him not going over there when they did the when WCW shut down, everybody went over there.
Well, the year that
I like him going to TNA, but I kind of wish he had went there.
But the year that they was gonna do that was the year that Sting got injured.
Yeah, he got hurt because he had the one with Triple H. So. All right, so transition to wrestling, and we'll have to do a part 2 because we got so much else that we can talk about. I know our time running short. NBA predictions this year. I know you're a Bulls fan. First of all, are you okay? Jim Boylen, what's going on? What do y'all need in Chicago? What's the problem in Chicago? What do y'all need?
I know I'm gonna be wrong. I'm not gonna be wrong for this. I'm just gonna say it. John Paxson, guard Foreman. Mm-hmm. I holler at you.
He's I holler at you.
And after that, we get some new fresh people in there who actually know basketball, know about what we're gonna, the way we need to go. Mm-hmm. Cause it's like y'all ain't nothing but y'all ain't nothing but Ryan Sorf and and what's name all over again.
So y'all need a new coach?
We need the whole kit caboose.
So right now, who would you keep?
I wouldn't get rid of nobody on. I'll keep my. You know we got Bobo.
I know. Yeah. Y'all got Bobo, the Bulls.
G League.
So he was
2-way contract.
He was with Denver. So they must have.
They let him go. You know. All right now. When you're in the G League, you only got 40 days on a contract. Yeah. And after them 40 days, you either gotta sign them.
So y'all got him from that.
Yeah, we claimed them off of waivers.
Because LaVine's averaging like 25, which I told people. Shout out to Andre Sorrell, because I told him a while ago. He gave my props that LaVine's good. You know what I mean? People just didn't understand.
We have to build around him.
Yeah.
And
marketing has got to get back to what he was last year. Jim Boylen's messed him up. Marketing.
True, but also
his averages went down.
But also we gotta actually go back to find our identity. If anybody know what the Bulls' real identity is, it's hard-nosed basketball, offense and defense. Yeah. You cannot see it no other way. Hard-nosed basketball. Even when Bulls started back when I've been a Bulls fan since 1984. Well, 85. And the reason why I was a Bulls fan was because shout out to my Uncle Troy, but he used to make me watch basketball with him, and it wasn't making I watched it. I was stuck on them. And I remember watching the game when Michael Jordan dropped the double nickel. Mm-hmm. I mean, what was it? No, 62 in the playoff game. And I was like, that's my player.
That's what's up. Now, so that's your Bulls, and we can talk more about your Bulls. And we try to get into Derrick Rose.
It's really not too much we can talk about the Bulls.
But shout out to Derrick Rose. Like you said, Derrick Rose had a great year, and he really, we thought was going to be that missing piece for like the Lakers or a team like that. Mm-hmm. But for the Pistons' credit, they won the first-round pick for him, which he's playing that good this year. Your prediction for this year? I mean, and this is assuming that the NBA is going to resume, hopefully by May or June. Your Eastern Conference champion, West Conference champion, give me NBA champion, and why?
If it wouldn't have went,
we're gonna say that's gonna resume in a couple months. Who's gonna come out the East? Who's gonna come out the West?
I'm sticking with my guns.
Who's that?
My favorite player in the league right now is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
But he's not gonna win the finals.
But he's gonna come out the East.
Yeah.
Who's coming out the West?
The Lakers.
Okay, so you do have.
Shout out to my mom.
So you do have Lakers.
So I say that's some kind of brownie points on that.
So you got Lakers over Clippers. Why? Because I do too. I got Lakers over Clippers. Why?
First reason, they don't got no big man. So if
they got Joakim Noah, your boy Joakim Noah.
if they had him Noah from 2 years ago, I would say yeah, but come on, God.
Yeah.
Nah. They don't have the depth, like big wise.
Mm-hmm.
They don't got enough bigs to me. I mean, you can get away with playing any other team.
Yeah.
That's out there that can free with you.
Yeah.
But there's some teams out there that can actually beat the Clippers in a series.
So Lakers over Bucks. How many games?
6.
6 games. Okay, so I mean, cool.
And the reason why I said 6 is because I think if Anthony Davis get to the finals,
He gonna go in.
he's going in because he's playing lights out right now.
Another guy I ain't gonna say we missed because he's one of our favorite wrestlers, but he's just not quite top 5, but very underrated. And I gotta get his DVD that came out a couple years ago. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, come out the top rope with the elbow drop. Now his interviews were legendary. His interviews are legendary. He's one of the best. I know people talk about The Rock and people talk about something. They will
never
Randy
touch him
Savage,
ever.
man. I'm trying to tell you. Hold on a Randy Savage interview, man. I'm telling you, hilarious, man. Hilarious. Randy Savage, he gets that, but he definitely.
Do you remember what is it like 2 years ago, man? You was gonna back
That's
him.
when you was back and forth with him, man. But man, listen, we go ahead and do a part 2 because I know we run out of time. But between wrestling, we can do more, and there's a wrestling. Shout out to Dante Henry because it's a wrestling roundtable I want to do as well with some people that watch wrestling with. Talking about more of the greats and getting more depth of it. Cause
I know a lot of people on that table.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Getting more in depth of it and really getting into that. You know, NBA is the same. Hopefully that resumes soon. Look, man, it's a Real Sports Fan podcast on a Tuesday night. I know we normally come to a Monday. On a Tuesday night, March 17th, my man Sharky came through.
Happy St. Patrick's Day too, everybody.
St. Patrick's Day for y'all.
I know nobody ain't gonna piss nobody because y'all.
So you know, I appreciate him. You know, looking out for me doing the interview. Next week, we'll be in Denton. Shout out to Teray. We'll be at Now the Phase.
A fellow 100 men of distinction.
100 men of distinction. Congratulations to both of y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad you said that. Are they still having it next week?
We're gonna the 100 men of distinction event is gonna be. They're trying to plan it for June 20th.
Okay.
But if anything else changes or updates, you can talk to Darcella Wilson, Andrea Sales. Cool. They have as much information as possible for you. Cool. And shout out to all the people, all the recipients of this.
Everybody.
Yeah,
you, Teresa,
because
people
I'm completely humbled and honored to have that distinction because it's my first thing. This is like my first real good award.
It's a great thing they do.
Yeah.
So appreciate it, bro.
Thank
you know what I'm
so
saying? We gotta
much,
do it like that. You know, Real Sports Fan Podcast. We out. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Share this.